Today I'm going to show you how to make this vinyl split tumbler with the ombre on top. If you like my style of teaching, make sure you join my free Diamonds and Dust Facebook group. There is a link for you down in the description. And if you would like to learn more advanced techniques, I also have a mentorship group as well. Make sure you click that link and read information on that. If you try any of my tips and tricks or techniques, make sure you give me a tag so I can see your beautiful work as well. We are going to be using a past designer box. This one was, I believe, May. It came with these two vinyl sheets. It did come with a full sheet of 12 by 12 as well with this pineapple, but I used it, so there's only a little bit left. And then it came with these three glitters that coordinated just perfectly. I announce when these boxes are available in my Diamonds and Dust Facebook group, which is a free group, so make sure you join to stay in the loop. We are going to take our tumbler, which this one is from Tipsy Magnolia. It's a 32 plump, and we are going to give it a good sand, concentrating on those top and bottom rims where they are the most vulnerable to chip or break off if it's dropped. And I like to use an 80 grit sanding block. Once it's all sanded, I just take a dry paper towel and wipe off that excess dust. Now I'm going to take a ruler and just decide how far I want my vinyl to go up my cup, and I'm thinking about 4 inches looks pretty good. So I took my vinyl and cut it down to a 4-inch section, and then I'm going to take my Cami Page Boutique Ultimate Tumbler tool. I do have a discount code linked for you down in the description, and I'm just using the vertical line maker and making a line on my cup with a water-based marker. Then I'm going to take and fold back about 1 inch of that vinyl backing and line it up with the line we made on our tumbler. You can either cover that line with the vinyl, but I like to wipe mine off with just a little paper towel and some water, just so it doesn't show through your vinyl by chance. Just make sure you don't use alcohol and it's just water, because the alcohol will mess up the ink on the vinyl. Then you can just start by removing a little bit of the backing at a time. And I just like to push my hand firmly right there in the crease where the vinyl and tumbler meet up, and just make it go all the way around until you get to the beginning of the vinyl. Once you have met the beginning, I just like to take the excess and fold it back right on the line of the beginning of the vinyl. And then once I fold it back really crisp, it will give you a nice crease to follow and cut the excess off with your X-Acto knife. Now we are going to take some electrical tape and place a piece right on that top edge of our vinyl. Once that is placed, we're also going to place a piece around the top rim of our cup. When you place the top piece, make sure you're leaving a gap of the stainless steel showing, and I would say I left maybe a little bit smaller than 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to take some painter's tape. It can be any thickness. This thin stuff is just what I had on hand. And we're going to tape off right above that electrical tape where that stainless steel was exposed. And we are going to tape that all the way around. This will make our next step a lot easier. Now I am going to take some chalk paint in similar colors to the colors of my glitter. I just chose a light pink and a yellow, and we are going to try to ombre those two together the best that we can. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to cover it with glitter, but I will show you here how I ombre them using the chalk paint. If you prefer spray paint, that works just as well. Just make sure you cover up that vinyl section or you will get overspray. I am going to start off by painting the top section yellow and the bottom section pink, not worrying about the ombre at this time, but then we are going to let that dry. Now that your first coat is dry, we're going to add a second coat. Once again, at this point, we are not concentrating on the ombre. We are just going to darken the pink and the yellow. I'm taking the same brush I used in the yellow and dipping half of it in the yellow and half of it in the pink, and then just going right over that middle section back and forth until you get those colors to blend. Now that your paint is all dry, we are going to apply our glitter using the epoxy method. So I have mixed up a few milliliters of epoxy, and I'm just going to apply that very thinly to the top painted section of our tumbler. Once that is all on there really thin and even, we are going to be using these two glitter colors. The yellow is called pineapple and the pinkish one is called grapefruit, and they coordinate just so beautifully with this really cute vinyl. And I'm going to start by applying them really heavy right at the tape line. Now to start ombreing those two colors together, we are just going to take and tip our cup at a stiff 45-degree angle. And I just like to put my glitter in a jar, or I always use these little teeny tiny cups. And I just gently tap my little glitter cup with my finger until it hits the tumbler and cascades down kind of more into the pink. And I don't always go for full coverage at this point. I just start building it up to make a beautiful blend. Once I'm done with the yellow, I do the same thing with the pink, but I'm tipping my tumbler the opposite way. And as you can see here, more on how I just get the glitter right to the edge of that little cup, and then I just tap with my finger, so just a little bit is coming out at a time. I would go back to my yellow, doing the same thing as before, just lightly tapping that little cup to make sure it just slightly falls down onto our tumbler. Then I'll go back with the pink and do the same thing. I just go back and forth until my glitter looks like it is full coverage. It will not look like full coverage if you can see too much of the paint underneath, or your glitter is laying flat, like more of like the tack it method. If it looks like it's flat, you need to add more glitter, or possibly you may have added a little bit too much epoxy for the epoxy method. Now you have to instantly remove the tape when you do the epoxy method. So remove that electrical tape on the top and the bottom. Leave that painter's tape at the top rim that we applied. We are going to add glitter to that section, and you don't want to retape. You're going to let that epoxy and glitter cure for a few hours before we move on to this next step. Once you have let it cured a couple hours, we're going to tape off our vinyl here, and then we are going to grab a greenish teal paint and paint those two sections. I let those two sections dry completely, and then using the same green color, I am adding a little bit of glitter glue. We are going to go back over those sections, and we are going to apply this tealish color of glitter called Sour. Now you can remove the painter's tape from the top and from the vinyl. Let this epoxy and Mod Podge all dry completely, and then we are going to spray seal our tumbler with some sort of spray sealer. I like triple thick from Rust-Oleum or Krylon. Once that is dry, we are going to add a layer of epoxy. Now that our epoxy has cured, go ahead and cut out some stripes on your silhouette or Cricut. I did two different sizes. I did this color shift kind of maroonish pink, and then I also cut out a smaller stripe in kind of a greenish teal. I'm going to place the thicker color changing vinyl on the top and bottom of each green section, and I also placed one around the bottom rim. Now I'm taking those thinner strips of vinyl that I cut out and placing those right in the middle of each of the color changing vinyl strips. Once you get all of your stripes applied, add your decal of choice. I went with this hand lettered one from my mentorship group that says Slightly Bitter. I offer exclusive tutorials over there, and I also offer at least 10 SVGs per month that you get to use freely for your business. It is so worth the money. Look into joining us. I have a link in the description. Once you have that decal applied, go ahead and add your epoxy layers until your cup is smooth. Our tumbler is all coated and she turned out so sparkly and beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and look for me on all other social media platforms under Diamonds and Dust.